There we go. Something's happening. There we go.
Perfect. All right. Good evening, viewers.
I'll be back. I'll be out. Call you later.
Laters, mate. Good evening, viewers. Apologies for the delay in the start time. We're here now and we're ready to get going. So this is round 9 of the Aussie Endurance Series, ready to go at Hockenheim. We're in Germany today and we're having a look at some qualifying times. So we've got 8/10 have separated the front two of the field. Aidan Rankin and Michael Voach. Then we've got Grant Patello, followed by Milan Payrak and James Mason. Then Matthew Shanahan, who we're watching make his way around the track as we speak. So let's cycle through some of these drivers, shall we? And see who we've got. So on board with Aidan as he rounds that final corner, using all the track, making sure he uses all of that green section, pushing it out wide and into T1 for yet another lap. So Mick's managed to push himself into the 137s now. Let's jump on board with Michael Voach. As he heads down that long main straight that this track has. I believe having to get my bearings here. We're all a little last minute, so I apologise for that, viewers. I know exactly where we are now, so he'll come around heavy on the brakes here. We really should try and fix that split in the screen for you, shouldn't we, viewers? As I say, you have to bear with me a little bit. It's all a bit hectic tonight. Let's turn that bezel width off. Get that applied. There we go. That's clean. Now we can see what's happening. So as you can see, Mick very much in control at this point. A 137.7. His closest competition is Matthew Shanahan, who's come in with a blazing 138.4. 4.5, followed by Rankin with an 138.48. So very close on the front three of the grid. Grant, only a few places back there. A few tenths back at a 138.8. Followed by Millen, James Mason, Ilias, Brendan McIver. Then we've got Jeff Arnold, Eamon Johnston, Glenn Kremlin, PJ Whitman, Brad Fenley, and Jared Eastman, who's put himself in a 142.0 there. That's probably on me. I apologise for that, Jared, but thank you for taking the time to get us set up. Okay, viewers, we have 12 seconds left of qualifying, and then we're getting ourselves into the business end of proceedings. We're going into the first heat. Get excited, looking at those quali times. Mick's definitely the one to beat. Maybe somebody can crash it. No, we don't do that here. I'm just kidding. But Mick's definitely the one to beat. He's got strong pace here tonight. So we're going to watch him do his thing, and we're going to be on the grid momentarily. I think looking at these times, there's a lot of very, very close times. We should see some fierce battles around the track tonight. And I don't know about you, but I am excited. So they start to grid up. Let's have a look and get away from that chopper cam, because that's not the most fun. So they're nearly gridded up now, folks. Nearly ready to go. Got a few missing from the grid yet. 2 minutes to grid up. Very technical track here tonight. A lot of complex corners or corner complexes that tend to run into each other a lot. And you make a mistake through one, it's going to cost you time through all of them. So tonight is going to be a race of consistency and people keeping their cool. So it looks like we've got a few missing from the grid. They may be potentially adding some fuel, messing with some setups. So seeing Michael, he's gridded up, ready to go, waiting at the front there. Our P2 challenger, Matthew Shanahan, yet to grid. Getting those last minute preparations done. Here we go. I think we've got almost everyone here now. 30 seconds left and we're going green. Folks, it's about to go down. Make sure you are ready. Big shout out, of course, to Hamilton RSL. Round 9 of the Aussie Endurance Series about to get underway. Our second last round of the year. I'm afraid I can't tell you where we're at next week because I haven't looked yet, but I will endeavour to find out in the break between sessions. All right, green flag and we're away. Michael Voch has gotten off to a very strong start, as has Matthew Shanahan, sticking with him. But it looks like Aidan Rankin may have captured that P2. He has. He's come through and held that there. They go through in a long line. There's not too many going too wide. Oh, we've got some movement there from the number 15 car, Brendan McIver. He gets hung out to dry a little bit there and drops down a few positions. Oh, we have a spin. Multiple cars off. We have a lot happening back there. Let's go back and have a look at what's happened in the instant replay. So we've got... There we go. The 460 and the 777's gone around and it has caused chaos. We have bumpers off. We have... one car in the grass trying to avoid it. So our new standings as a result of that in the current race. Michael still out in the front and we have Matthew Shanahan still in P2. Aidan Rankin looks like he's in P3 at the moment. How did they swap positions? We missed that while we were focusing on that action. Let's... Well, I see there's been some radios. There may be some things to look at after the race here. All right, it looks like some of the cars involved in that bingle are moving again. We're on board with Ilias, who's making moves down the track here in the 09. And Jeff Arnold looks like he's moving very slowly here. We've got a safety car called. Safety car. We're just going to give these guys a chance to cool down. Everybody's... Oh, it looks like my overlays have been a bit incorrect there too. It looks like if we look at the standings, we have Voch, Ranking and Grant Patillo in the top 3. Milan has unfortunately got himself a meatball in that little melee that occurred in lap 1, so we'll just give the boys a chance to cool down. Everybody will group up again and we will go again. So we've got Millen, Jeff Arnold have both entered the pits there. There'll be A short repair for them, but hopefully they'll be able to rejoin the back of the field and make an impact on this race still. So you can see in our lap times there that already, if we have a look at our little fancy lap time monitor down the bottom there, we've got Voch has already taken himself off to a relatively quick lead. Not that it matters much because we had a safety car before the end of the first lap. So that's probably to be expected. 16 minutes left of this race to go. What we now need to do is just let these boys chill. They'll be in the car thinking about how this restart's going to go, where positions can be made up, but making sure they do it cleanly, because the last thing anybody wants is to spend the entire race cruising around behind the safety car. Apologies that I don't have more to talk about. Again, all I can talk about, I guess, is the state of the series at the moment. So it's our second last round. The boys from Simline, oh, speaking of which, gosh, I'm a terrible person. Let's get us some liveries in here. Very unprofessional of me. I apologise, viewers. So we're still rolling around behind the safety car, starting to see some liveries roll in now. We've got the Team VGA in there. On board here with Aidan Rankin as he cruises around behind the Simline car of Michael Voch. And now on board with Grant Patello in the Sapporo livery. Famous for the Battle of the Breweries. We've got the three of them here. Sapporo, the imported contender. We've got Fenley, who's made up quite a lot of positions on the start. He's sitting in P5 right now. He's representing the Victorian Bitter. And then we have the 4X car somewhere in this field. Usually, they may... I haven't seen it tonight. Oh no, there it is. There it is. All queued up and ready for their restart. Unfortunately, I'm not dialed into race control at the moment. Let's see if we can get that happening. All right, hopefully now we can get ourselves some comms from race control, or I may be just excluded because I'm a spectator. Apologies, viewer. This is my first time broadcasting on my own, so you'll have to bear with me as I work my way through this one. On board with Jared Eastman in the wonderful VGA livery. If you're a veteran and a gamer, check out the Veteran Gamers Association. All right, looks like mixing control of the race again here, potentially. Are we going green? We're away, and it's a clean start so far. No jumps by the look of it. Everybody seems to be falling in line as we head around T1. And it looks like Rankin is looking to find a way past there. He has stuck his nose up on the exit there, which has allowed him to get quite the run. But there it is, the 4X car of Millen making moves alongside the Vegemite car. Oh, and we have Matthew Shanahan making moves up the front. The Vegemite car holds that position, and the VB of Brad Fenley and the Red Bull car have come together there. Let's have a look at exactly what's happened. Who do we want to have a look at? On board with Brad Fenley. Let's have a look here. It looks like they're, the number 15 of who's in the number 15, folks? This is terribly difficult. Brendan McIvka. Sorry, my bad, viewers. I'm going to get used to this, I swear. But it looks like he's turned in just a little earlier than Brad expected. Brad was making the move alongside, and it's all gone awry. And it looks like both of those cars have potentially moved to the pits. No, Brad Fenley's still on track. Okay, let's have a look. We're on board with Rankin now, who's still giving rapid chase to Michael Voch. And Matthew Shanahan, no slouch himself. He is sticking with that front battle pack. They've just got themselves out to a little bit of a gap, couple of seconds in front of Millen in the 4X car there. And there we have a bit of a battle between Glenn Crenlin in number 30 and James Mason in that number 777, who's also putting the moves on Johnston. Sends it around the inside there, makes the move stick, gets it done, and it looks like Glenn Crenlin has... Whoa, little bit of a jump there to Johnston, who has also followed through on Jeff Arnold by the looks of it, and made that move stick. Just a cheeky little move through there. And we're back with Rankin, who's still pushing hard to find his way past the leader, Michael Voch. Gap very small, only 0.7 of a second between the front three cars here. We're in for a three-way battle until the end, folks. This is going to get very exciting. We're down to the final 9 minutes of this session. At 2.5 minutes a lap, my apologies, minute 40 a lap. We're probably looking at 5 to 6 laps before we find out exactly how this race ends. And we see Rankin has a bit of a moment on that curb there, which has caused the car to just slide a little bit, and that's given Michael a bit of breathing room and put Grant Patello right down his neck. And again, we're on board with the number 48 of Rankin as we head into that long straight, into that heavy braking zone where we're going to find ourselves heading around that turn pin and trying to get on that power early. And it looks like he's starting to close the gap a little bit again, down to 0.3. We're seeing some action here tonight. Let's go down the field a little bit, folks, and see what else is happening. So we've got a couple of cars in the pits there, Shanahan and McIver. Fenley, a little bit back there in no man's land after that accident with the Red Bull car of Brendan McIvka. And it looks like, unfortunately for Millen, who was making a charge through the field earlier, it looks like that damage seems to have slowed him down a little bit. And then we get up to PJ Whitman, who's doing well in P10 there. Moving up, we have Jeff Arnold in the Pagnian Imports livery, representing the Aussie sim racing retailer. And moving up again, Jared Eastman in P8, who's doing well, sticking pretty close to Glenn Crellin, who's looking like he might be coming under pressure any moment now. Looking at our sector head-to-head, we can see that he is losing time at the moment to Jared. Jared's gone dead even with him in Sector 1 here. Sorry, made up 0.2 in Sector 1. Jeff Arnold went exactly level, but has actually been passed. Yes, we've got some crazy action happening at the moment here. Big battle between Whitman and Eastman after a little bit of a off there. So these two are going hammer and tong. Eastman under pressure from PJ Whitman, who's all over the back of that Porsche. If we move up the field a little bit, we get back to our leaders here who are still, they have checked out of this race. The front three in the battle pack. We've got 1.3 seconds between them. Oh, and a big off track from Rankin there as he takes that very wide trying to hold pace. But you know what they say about safety rating, folks? Safety rating is a currency to spend when you need to on pace. So Mason just falling off the pace a little bit. Back down here at 7 seconds off Mick. And not under huge pressure yet from Ilias in the number 7 car. But there's a potential battle there. It's under a second. He'll be getting the slipstream. And he'll be looking to take those points and get that move done before this race is over. And if we have a look at our last 5 lap average that I'm looking at right now, I can see that on average in the last 5 laps, Grant Patello has edged ahead of these other two boys in terms of the fastest average. But it is intensely close up here. As you can see, they're in a bit of a league of their own. They are making this their race. Let's go back and have a look at exactly what's happening on track and where. So the battle at the moment still seems to be all to do with the front three, with Grant somehow at the moment just falling a little bit further back. We've still got Rankin within half a second of Michael Voch, but Grant Patello has fallen back just that little bit. He's going to want to push that little bit further if he wants to maintain that slipstream and stay on top of this battle. Michael Voch, though, he has led from start to finish of this race, put it on pole, and we're down to 3 minutes and 35 seconds remaining. It's good to see Brad Fenley still on track, and it looks like James Mason has built himself a little more of a gap on Elias Dogan. And if we go back to Eamon Johnston, we have, again, just some little gaps forming on this track that are making it a bit of a train just outside the slipstream. Going back to Eastman, Jared has pulled away from PJ a little bit there, and Millen in the damaged car and Fenley rounding it out as the car's still on track. And unfortunately, Brendan still in the pits after that little mishap and that contact. Let's have a look at the moment and we'll see where we're at with this lead battle pack. And it looks like the other two, if we look at our last 5 lap average, you can see that clearly. It looks like Mason's just edging a little bit closer to that average lap time, though it's a big ask to make up 3 minutes in 2 minutes of racing. This will be our second last lap. Next lap will be the white flag. So we've got Rankin 0.8, 0.6 now behind Michael Voch, closely followed by Grant Patello. A few seconds back, we've got James Mason and Elias Dugan. And looking at that, we've got a bit of a battle forming there. Look at that. They are within half a second of each other. Let's go back and have a look at what's happening in that battle and how close it might be. So Elias applying pressure to James Mason in this purple Simline car. Bit like the Teletubbies, these Simline boys. They've picked a colour and that's their colour. And this is going to be intense. He's right on top of James Mason at this point. James Mason will be feeling that pressure. And Elias looks like he is just making sure to maintain it. Just holding position there and making sure that he doesn't fall off the tail. From this corner through to the end of the track. Oh, big mistake from Mason. It looks like that's going to give Elias the run here. Oh, almost contact, but James Mason closes the door and Elias decides to back out of that one and that it's not worth the risk. But that's closed these two right up. And we've still got a battle happening at the front of the field too, folks. We have Rankin only 0.4 behind Michael Voch. Let's go back and have a look at the front there and see if we've got any excitement happening. Rankin and Voch pulling identical lap times in the last 5 laps. This battle is going backwards and forwards, and we're seeing them push it to the very edge as the mud flicks up off those wheels as Rankin edges it just on to the edge of the track ever so slightly, using every scrap available, determined to find his way into this battle on this last and final lap. Can he get there? And look at this. We've got Grant Patello, who is looking closer. He's looking to drag himself back into this and potentially capitalize. If these two go toe-to-toe too hard and anything happens, this race could be Grant's, and he knows it. He's just hanging there, waiting for his chance. 0.4 as they head down that back straight and into this final complex, which leads all the way into a series of turns that will lead them on to the end of the race. Time is running out for Rankin. If he wants to find his way past, it's going to have to be now or never. It's going to have to be around this double apex, double right-hander. But it looks like Mick's just found himself enough breathing space to get the job done. And that will be the position. So we've got Michael Voch crossing the line in P1, followed by Aiden Rankin in P2, Grant Patello in P3, and we're going back to James Mason in P4. Good fight from Elias there, but they finish in those two positions. And who else have we got? So, looks like we're going to have P6 is Arnold and Eamon Johnston in the 97 car, wrapping up P7. Glenn Crellin wrapping up P8. Jared Eastman in P9. PJ Whitman will be followed by Millen, Brad Fenley, Brendan McKivka, who was 7 laps down after that unfortunate incident at the start, and Matthew Shanahan, 10 laps down after a bit of poor luck in the opening lap. How about that, folks? That's some great racing. You love to see it. We've got my Overlay lying to me a little bit here, telling me things were happening that weren't. Let's go back and have a look at some of the action as it happened. Don't think it's quite going back far enough for us, but send it back a bit further, hey? So earlier in the race, we had these are during practice we've gone back to. So yeah, not a lot of overtakes happening in that race. But right now, we've got a few minutes of practice. See if there's any cars on track, shall we? No cars on track. So they're all taking this opportunity to potentially grab a drink, get themselves settled, get ready for the next race, which will be exactly the order that we mentioned. So we're going to have Michael Vogt, followed by Aidan Rankin, followed by Grant Patello, followed by James Mason, Ilias Dogan, Jeff Arnold, Eamon Johnston, Gran Krellin, Jared Eastman, PJ Whitman, Milan Payrak, Brad Fenley, Brendan McIvka, and Matthew Shanahan. Now, in this next race, expect to see those that were a bit unlucky trying to make a charge through the field. I think we're going to see a lot more action than we did in the first race after that initial pile-up that we had, which was unfortunate. Let's see if while we've got some time here, we can go back that far, and it doesn't look like we can, unfortunately. Anyway, I'm sure we can do it the hard way. No, apparently I can't go back that far, which is weird. I always can go back that far, viewers. See, this is what happens when you do a last minute. When you do a last minute broadcast. Yeah, no, I don't appear to have the buffer here. Sorry, folks. So we cannot go back that far. All right, we've got ourselves somebody out warming up the skills. Gran Krellin has come out for a look at the track before we go into race number 2. Let's go on board with Glenn as he makes his way around. Quite a deceptive corner, this next one. You can carry much more speed than it appears, but you carry a little too much and the car will kill you. It will send you out into the dirt, as we saw with Mason on that last lap where he almost lost that position. Then this set of corners, it demands patience. You get on too early, you will lose your entire run all the way through to T1. You see patience, and he's back on that power and he's sending it down towards the line. T1's one of those where if you've got the car for it, which the Porsche kind of is, you can eat that sausage curb, cut the corner and find yourself a bunch of time into T1. That's a sausage curb you don't want to hit. And then it's important to set yourself up for turn 3 there, because you really need to ensure that you don't have to lift, which can be difficult, especially when those first few laps when tyres are cold. That's when you see disaster like we saw in lap 1, race 1. So, folks, we're into the final. Are you excited? I hope you're as excited as I am, because I am very keen to see this race get underway. All right, let's get ourselves a good view of the start here. We're starting to grid. The drivers are starting to return. Some of those that might be a little nicotine inclined may use every moment available to them to ensure that they're ready, relaxed, and keen for this race. So again, keep an eye out for Matthew Shanahan, Brad Fenley, and Milan Payrak, because those guys sustained damage in lap 1. They're out of position. They're going to be looking to maximise their points tonight in race 2. So they're going to want to find their way through the field. Michael Vogt just not quite ready. He's bailed out of that grid spot. And there he is. He's back in the car. Oh, my mistake. Sorry, that's the Sapporo car. I need to go to Specsavers. All right, Michael Vogt on the grid and Aiden Rankin on the grid. It looks like the grid is almost formed up. We've got ourselves 30 seconds left. Very close to green flag. The tension is palpable. Just 2 rounds left. Everything on the line. This one's for all the biscuits, all the chocolates, all the sheep stations, all the things that you want that are tasty and expensive. These guys are racing for it tonight. All right, and we're about to go green.
Green flag,
with
green
Michael
flag.
Vogt, and we're green, and we're away. And we've slipped back to James Mason there, who's gone side by side with Grant Patello into T1 there. And it looks like he may well make it through. And Johnston makes up a place there. Oh, we're 3 and 4 wide everywhere here. How we've gotten through without any contact is incredible. And look at that. As predicted, some of those cars making a charge. And we've got what may have been Jared Eastman off the track, I think, judging by the livery. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. Oh, this was a chaotic start. But we're starting to go into single file, though we have some side-by-side action up the front of the field here. As what have we got happening at the front here? We've got Rankin, Mason, and Vogt. Oh no. And unfortunately, the number 19 Red Bull car has gone around. Sorry, the number 15 Red Bull car of Brendan McKivka has gone around again. But we're having a great battle here in the midfield as Millen makes his way alongside, tries to go the long way around the outside, around Eamon Johnson, but it doesn't work out for him this time. But that doesn't stop him from throwing it up again, and it looks like he's going to make the move stick this time. And now we've got Matthew Shanahan looking to find his way through as well. I told you, folks, these guys that got into trouble in race 1, they're the ones that are going to be making a charge and making all the moves happen here. So, looks like Eamon Johnson is just holding Matthew Shanahan up a little bit there. But if we look on board with Eamon Johnson, we have Milan Payrak side by side, full commitment into T1, and he's got his way through there. Oh, and a little bit wide from Matthew Shanahan, but he's made that move stick. And it looks like Glenn Crellin is coming along for the ride. Fierce battle between the two of these competitors here. And in this instance, Glenn Crellin has come out on top and found his way ahead of Matthew Shanahan. That little battle there just gave Millen the space that he needed to clear the track and move down the field a little bit. Meanwhile, bit of a mistake there. Late brakes and he's run on off the corner as Grant Patello starts to put pressure on James Mason. 0.4 of a second the gap there. Just falling off the front two a little bit. 9/10 compared to their half a second. And we're seeing about half a second between Grant and James Mason. We could be in for a very interesting race here. In the background, we see Arnold and Ilias going at it. Nothing between them at all. Ilias has an absolute bumper full of Porsche livery right there. That Sapporo car just pushing its way along. Mick with the fastest lap of the race. Michael Vogt with a 1:38.5. He is 4/10 clear of Rankin on that lap, as we were on board momentarily with Ilias Dogan, the number 7, as he makes his charge forward. Now, back to Grant Patello, and it looks like we've got some blinking. James Mason disappearing, coming back onto track. That's always scary as a driver. Less than a 10th separating those two in the last lap. And just separating into those little battle packs now. If we start to look back down the field, you'll see coming into view now is Melon Payrak, who, as I said, after getting into trouble in that first race, is now charging along. He put in a 1:39.9 with those battles on the last lap, which was 9/10 down on Jeff Arnold there, as he starts making up those places in that number 19 4X car. We love the Queensland brew. We'll just ride on board with Millen for a moment here, and we'll get ourselves some fresh lap times soon. In fact, we've got ourselves a bit of a head-to-head here. He is making time in every sector on Glenn in the car behind him. He has made up a little bit in the first sector. Oh, there must have been a big mistake from Ilias somewhere, because that car is suddenly well into view, and we made up an entire 3.4 seconds in that last lap alone. So now we're seeing Millen on the charge, and Ilias just starting to feel the pressure from that car a little bit as it closes that gap to within a second. And Millen, if you watch our head-to-head there, that's going to tell you what the difference is in each sector. So we're seeing it live as it's happening. We've taken another 10th out in Sector 1, but it looks like Ilias is very strong in Sector 2, but he's made a mistake. He's gone wide and missed the apex. That's really closed that gap now into Sector 2. Oh, this is exciting racing, folks. We're going to see a battle on this one very soon. Let me tell you, the gap at the moment, 0.3 between them. 0.3 between them, and it's all happening. It's all going down. Aiden Rankin still giving chase to Michael Vogt, still keeping it within striking distance. Half a second between the two of them. And James Mason just falling off that little bit, 1.3 seconds behind. Grant Patello is not far behind him. Now let's go back to that battle of the Titans as Millen gives chase to Ilias. So the gap out to 0.6 seconds there. But as you can see in the head-to-head, 0.1, 1/10 made up, 3/10 made up, and then just a little bit even there. But he made up 4/10 after making up 3.5 seconds in a lap. This battle is going to happen, and he's just creating that little gap behind, 4.85 seconds. Oh, something's happened to Glenn. Let's go back and have a look and see what we can find. He's in a battle with Brad Fenley, who's been able to overtake him, and now he's trying to fight back. But Brad has been able to make that move stick. Let's watch them go down into the hairpin because Glenn will have himself a wonderful slipstream. Brad taking the defensive line, saying, no, sir, I don't think so. You want this? You're going to go the long way around. And Glenn thinks, I don't want a piece of this. I'm going to settle in back here, and I'm going to hang on and follow Brad around for a moment. Now, let's go back to that battle in front of us between Millen and Jeff Arnold. No, sorry, was it Arnold or Johnston? Let's go back and have a look either way. It wasn't either of them. Millen is battling with Ilias Dogan. And that's why they tell me not to give up my day job. And look at these two cars. So Ilias has lost less than a tenth in Sector 1, but 3/10 in Sector 2. This is heating up. He must be starting to feel the pressure. Front 3 spreading out a little bit. 0.7 from P1 to P2, and then another couple of seconds out to P3. But look at that. If we go up the front and have a look here at Grant Patello, he is all over the bumper of James Mason. This is exciting racing, folks. Is he going to use that slipstream, hang on here all the way down the straight, and make a run into that hairpin? It's a good place to get a move done. It is a big, heavy braking zone, and it can be hard with the long run and the slipstream not to cover there. But it looks like Mason's maintained position there. This is all heating up. I don't even know where to look, folks. There's too much action. The action's just happening everywhere. Everywhere I look, there is places threatening to be swapped. But this seems to be the battle at the moment. Grant Patello versus James Mason, taking it to the Simline, boys. Don't worry about Battle of the Breweries. Battle of the Grant versus the James. And James launching that Porsche off that sausage curb. But it doesn't seem to have hurt his speed too much. He's still carrying everything through there and making Grant really work to hang on to the back there. Jared, unfortunately, has been in an incident and has found himself in the pits. Who else have we got? Matthew Shanahan. He's finding himself in P11 at the moment. He's under pressure from Brendan McKivka, although not really. Eamon Johnston. Oh, look at that. Matthew Shanahan, we've gotten on board just in time. Chucks it under there into the start of that final corner complex and gets that move done. He's now going to give chase to Glenn Crellin down the road a little bit, who it looks like Brad Fenley has just gotten up the road a little bit and bought himself some breathing space. But what is happening between Millen and Ilias? It is still super close up here, folks. This is the quintessential battle right now. If there's a chance of cars swapping before the end of the race, of which we're under the 10-minute mark, just 9 minutes to go, plenty of time for action. This is the battle we need to watch. Oh, and I'm glad we were, because Millen has just shown his hand. He has, as I predicted earlier, used the heavy braking zone of the hairpin to make his intentions known. But can he get it done before he loses the inside line here? He has. He's got himself clear, and Ilias tucks in behind. So we'll keep an eye on this battle, folks, because these two are not too far apart. And it looks like Grant Patello might have fallen off the back of James Mason just a little bit. Let's go and have a look. We've got Grant there, who is out to 1.3 seconds from James Mason after losing 4/10 in the last lap. But, as I said, we're very early here. It only takes one mistake, and they are on top of each other again. Let's go through and have a look at who we've got on track. So, Grant giving chase to James Mason. James Mason giving chase to Aiden Rankin, 2.1 seconds back. Rankin keeping in touch with Michael Voch, but it looks like these two aren't going to trouble each other too much at this point. Aiden made up a 10th in Sector 1. Can he make up another 10th in Sector 2? We're about to find out. Let's watch them as they go around the hairpin. That little concertina effect gives you a driver hope. You start to close in. But then because the other driver's on the power early, it starts to extend out again. And you think, God, what do I have to do? So looking at the gap, staying consistent at about a second. Let's go on board with our race leader and watch him as he does a lap of this wonderful track. Or maybe not a full lap, but let's watch the lines he takes. This is a man that is full commitment, right against the wall here, uses every scrap of curb on the exit, and he knows that the car gets a bit unstable and a bit wobbly on that exit curb, so a little more conservative through there. Big cut across every ounce of track available to him here, and takes that double apex right-hander that takes him over the line. And you see, again, there's nothing left. The man is a man of precision. We're talking millimeters. That's what you need to do to extract the times that Michael extracts from this track. There's not much more you can do without that being a track limits violation. And if we look ahead, we see that Michael has even started to catch the next car down the road. Let's have a look if there's any battles going on track. Oh, it looks like there's been an incident with Matthew Shanahan, who's pulling into the pits. Not a good night for him. Let's see if we can see what the issue was there real quick. Something potentially happening here. He's still moving very quickly. We've got cars coming up the inside. Was there contact? Yes. Oh, no. Oh, no. He's turned in. Ooh, that's a bit rough there. A bit rough. But all incidents will be investigated post-race. I'm sure the stewards will have their say. I'm not about to give myself any opinions on that matter. We'll let the stewards make that decision without my influence. On board now with Glenn, still giving chase to Brad Fenley. The gap there, 0.5 seconds. This is one of those that may turn over before the end of the race. And, we need to get back up the front here, because what I'm seeing on the relative, on the standings, is that James Mason and Grant Patello are swapping places right now. We've had a bit of movement there, and it looks like James has managed to successfully defend that, and Grant's just fallen off a little bit. It looks like Rankin's just starting to try and close the gap up a little bit, knowing that we're only a couple of laps left before we get to that white flag. So it looks like the battle may have just cost Grant a little bit of time in there to and fro that I saw happening on the standings just there. But he is bringing that gap down again, just piece by piece. He's still within that 1 second mark where the slipstream starts to make a difference. He does have every chance, and I bet if I was in that cockpit and inside that man's head, every intention to take P3 from these Simline boys, who have made a bit of a habit in recent times of taking P1, 2, and 3. So, come on, Grant. Let's see you get up there. Let's see you put the moves on James Mason and see if we can break that streak. Oh, we come on just in time to see Glenn make a move around the inside there on Brad Fenley, and he makes that one stick too. That was an absolutely beautiful move. And is Brad going to come back? No, he thought about it. He had a bit of a look, decided against it. Unfortunately, Glenn loses 2 positions. He's overcommitted there, found himself in the dirt. That's what I said about that particular corner earlier in the race, folks. It's a deceptive one. You get out to that, you get to that braking zone, and you get tempted, especially when you're under pressure, just to carry that slight bit too much pace. And once you touch the dirt, the sheer speed that you're carrying will just let the car slide and carry you right out there. And that's what's happened to poor Glenn, as he's lost 2 positions and found himself behind Eamon Johnston. And Eamon looks like he's starting to close in on the back of Brad Fenley here. We've got an 0.4 second gap. You wonder if Brad is maybe carrying a little bit of damage after the contact that we saw earlier in the race at that hairpin there, because the car of Johnston is closing on him rapidly and has made a move up the inside, made his intention very, very clear here. He is well and truly alongside, and are they going to get through cleanly? They are. So we've got two cars side by side, followed by two cars side by side. But it looks like Fenley's able to hold that position there and just carry that bit of extra speed that he needed to hold the inside into this next corner complex. I don't think we'll see much overtaking opportunity at the end of this straight. It's too fast a corner. You need all the track to get through it without losing all your pace. But we'll see what these guys do. This is a very close battle. We've got four cars, four ways around, minute 43 left. So it looks like we're going to be very close to the end of the race here. If I'm not mistaken, let's have a look where Michael Vogt is. Unfortunately, I'm not getting flags because I stupidly joined as a spectator. I will join as a driver next time, folks. You live and you learn. Okay, so Michael Vogt, half a second up from Aiden Rankin up the front here, followed 4.4 seconds later. 4.9 seconds later by James Mason. And looking at that relative board, we have another battle going on, folks. Grant is putting it to James Mason here. You just see those front two disappearing up the front a little bit. But we have Grant and James all over the back of each other. 0.3 is the gap. Is something going to happen? Is this the white flag? I don't believe it is, because it looks like Mick's still... No, it's definitely not the white flag looking at where these cars are. They're going to get another lap in. This is our white flag lap, and we have 0.4 of a second between James Mason and Grant. Oh, no! Oh! Rankin! Overcommitted! Into the dirt! He's gone around! He's lost 2 positions! He's back on track! It looks like he's conceded. We're going to see a breakdown of that sim line 1, 2, 3 that we've been seeing for the past couple of weeks as Rankin slips down into P4. 1 lap left to find. Over 3 seconds. I don't think it's going to happen. Oh, we're going to have to look at the replay and see what happened there. Oh, we can't turn away from this action, folks, but we're definitely going to go back and look at that before this race is out. As we watch Grant think about a move there. He is on the bumper. He is making James work for this. James, being the Minister of Defence, as he often is, as Mick, untroubled up front, 6 seconds in front. Look at him out there in the distance. He doesn't have a worry in the world. He's driving to work. He's on his morning commute right now. He doesn't care. But Grant searching everywhere, trying to find a way through, trying to slip that car somewhere where he can find the space to come through. And that battle allowing Aiden Rankin to close the gap a little bit here. This battle for P2, 3, and 4 is really heating up. I don't think Rankin will get there. But this battle between Grant Patello and James Mason is far from over, folks. This might be the white flag lap as they go into the back half of the track now. Very fast section, technical corner complexes, not a lot of room for anything to happen here. And it looks like Grant may have fallen off just a little bit as James still exercises his Minister for Defence reflexes there. But, it's going to go down to the last corner, I think. Look at him closing the gap, looking for a way through. Can he get it done on the last corner? Is this going to be a drag race to the finish line? No. Oh, possibly. Oh, what a finish there. It looks like Grant Patello has got the job done on James Mason as he's found himself in the dirt on the final lap. Folks, that was a finish. What a heck of a finish. Oh. All right, let's go back and see what happened to Aiden Rankin here. So, before we do that, let's go through the results here. We had Michael Vogt P1, Grant Patello P2, James Mason P3, Aiden Rankin after that penultimate lap incident, followed by Milan Payrak. And who else have we got looking down the list here? We have Millen was followed by Jeff Arnold, Brad Fenley, Eamon Johnston, Glenn Crellin, Ilya Stogan, Brendan McIvka, PJ Whitman, Jared Eastman, few laps down after that incident. Matthew Shanahan after another contact, potentially in that hairpin. What a night of racing, folks. We'll get those boys in and we'll have a chat too. Michael, Grant, and James Mason very shortly. All right, before we do, let's go and have a look here and see if we can figure out what happened to... Aiden Rankin in that penultimate lap. All right, we're back there. Let's have a look. Let's get on board with Aiden Rankin and see what happened here. It looks like we're just before the incident here. He's gone over. No, this wasn't where the incident occurred. Where did he lose that position? Let's follow him around one more lap. It must be the next lap. Oh, there it is. There it is. All right. Let's have a look at the replay of that one there. It looks like the rear has just gone on him inexplicably. Very early in turn in too. If we have a look at this one, folks, let's have a look at the chase camera here. Hello, boys. Welcome in. We're just watching the replay of Aiden Rankin as he lost that position on the penultimate lap. So, boys, exciting evening of racing. Mick, you didn't seem to be too concerned anywhere, just held your pace. Aiden kept you honest, but were you managing your pace there? Did you ever feel under threat, or were you just essentially just maintaining the gap, managing your tyres?
A little bit of both. He had me pretty well covered, I'd say, pace-wise, but yes, on this track there's a few places where you can't really do much, so there's not too many places you have to defend, really, except for the big braking zones. So, yeah, I was just trying not to melt my tyres, so I still could push in the last few laps. Yeah, shame he spun out there on that last one, because he was going good. I don't think I could have got away from him, but yeah, we had a good pace going.
It was a very good battle all the way through. I'm sure he'll be very disappointed with that outcome. Grant,
G'day.
how you doing, mate? That was
Good.
an exciting finish. Did you think you were going to get the job done in that last lap?
No, I just thought, oh, well, P3, that's cool. And then he's ran wide and almost followed him off. And yeah, just got past him. So yeah, it's good.
It
good
was.
outcome, so.
It was a very exciting finish to watch. I'll give it that. James, what were you thinking as you realised that you'd overshot that corner?
I was just thinking pull over right and see if I can squeeze Grant out of it, but no, it was a bit too wide, and yeah, just threw it away really. Like, it was unintentional, didn't really need to go that hard, and I think that's why I got the I rating I am, is because I make stupid mistakes like that. But yeah, is what it is. P3 is fine.
No, you've all done very well tonight, boys. Congratulations. I think it was some very exciting racing to watch. We had exciting racing up and down the entire field. That battle between you, Grant, and James, it was exciting to watch. I enjoyed it. I found you on top of each other that entire last several laps, and there was no quarter given. Great racing. Congratulations to everybody on your positions, and we'll see you next week. Not to be unprofessional, do any of you boys know where we're at next week?
Nope. I haven't even looked.
Did look it up. I've forgotten. Catalonia, I think.
Catalonia, right. Fantastic. Thank you.
Lovely track.
Thank you very much. Yes, Catalonia is an epic track, folks. Please join us next Thursday, same place. At Adelaide. My bad. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
We're going back to Adelaide, folks. possibly because of the
Latest software.
if you've been
Yeah,
watching
GD4s.
us. Sorry.
I was just saying, Catalonia's for the GD4s. They've got Mexico down for the Porsche Cup because we did Adelaide at the start of the season.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I don't know
Okay,
if
so
we've
they
gone.
changed it to Mexico.
I
Yeah,
think
right.
they mentioned that they may be going back to Adelaide. I'm not sure if that's to make up for if you've been with us since the start of the season and following along. We did have a slight mishap in round 1 that resulted in a reverse grid. But either way, does it matter? Mexico, Adelaide, both fantastic tracks. Again, congratulations, boys. Anyone, let's, before we finish the stream there, Mick, anyone you'd like to thank or give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah. Yourself stepping up and doing the commentary. It sounded really good last week. All the boys that keep the league running, much appreciated. And the blokes out at Simline Race Service and Sender Decal Works.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Michael and Grant.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks, Justin, for doing the broadcast. It's good to watch back later. And yeah, thanks to John and Jared for putting the league on.
Absolute pleasure. And I'm sure all the boys appreciate the thanks. And don't expect too much when you watch it back. I'm no Jason, but I'm trying my best. And James.
Mate, yeah, I just want to thank you because you stepped up, done the broadcast. That was pretty good for the last minute. So it was a good watch. And yeah, I just want to thank Simline, the boys, like getting in there. We're all having fun. It's good shit over there. So yeah,
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much, everyone. And that wraps it up for another week. So we will see you 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time next week. Final round. This championship will be decided next week. We will know who is going to take it out, who is going to challenge, and it's going to be exciting. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you there.